mounts an altar, and what beast that must exist? It flies with music from our lips, and steals our kiss and blows it out into the mist. Where castles stand on cliffs and cobbled streets, they wind and drift, and moods are made and set but shift. This place where skies are low and birds are big. We went to sleep in day and woke again the same day. We have learned to cheat the time, and find the hours that the clocks cannot define. Oh, as I looked up from that stage, I felt a thing that had been made, and how it raged and how it raged. How to explain? Something makes me howl and shiver to the core. Oh, outside if it was raining, then inside there'd be a storm. We've got a pair of hands for climbing, and a pair of knees to spring, and a pair of balls for strength, and a pair of lungs to sing. And these simple chords that say music is the language of our soul. These songs is to be written, or the chorus always knows what is in store. And what is more, the thing that sings us is the thing that makes us roar. I felt the beast kiss on my neck, we clapped our hands and heard them spread. There was a trumpet and a call, a pack of Spaniards screamed from all. Our music is the language of our soul. Music is the language of our soul. Music is the language of our soul. Music is the language of our soul.
That's stupid. Don't try and take out both trucks at once.
Oh, I see.
Hard to speak emotional, cause these things are the things that can't be said. And when it strikes the memory from our heads. Once I wrote two plays to be immortal for a night, and despite the unknown hours, something happens when the light turns out the lights. Then we fade and yawn to music that's the language of our soul.
Yes, I bought a motorcycle. Say hello to my 1973 Honda XL175, the first dual sport motorcycle on the market. That's a massive claim, and I read that on Wikipedia. I have no idea if it's valid or not. I picked this bike up for $700. It was rusting away in this old dude's garage. It's a 45-year-old bike, so I was expecting it to be in a much worse state, to be honest. You might not recognize where I'm blasting dirt and grime over that front courtyard. That's not actually my house, that's my friend's house. He picked up a 250cc version of the bike at the same guy's garage, and we are now restoring it side by side. So this series is going to be probably a 3 or 4 part series of me restoring this bike and getting it working and registered and riding it home into the sunset. So I've given it a pretty good clean. I've degreased it, gonied it, all the grime and stuff off, and I'm now coating all the rust patches in an anti-rust solution, so that'll stop the rust from spreading. Both of the drive sprockets on the bike were pretty munted. They had a few teeth missing and they were rusty, and you see they were very worn. So that's why I'm replacing this rear one at the moment. I did replace the front one, but I think you'll see that later. I have to say, I've never owned a motorcycle before. I've done odd jobs on cars, but this is all fairly new to me, and I'm absolutely loving the fact that if you need to get anything on a motorcycle, get to any part or any broken component, it's pretty damn easy compared to working in an engine bay of a car. So the rear sprocket, these bolts were press fit into the sprocket, and they're pretty caked in there, so I had to push them out before I could reuse those bolts on the new sprocket. We're putting some heat on it here and giving them a whack. It seemed to do the trick. I was never a Leatherman guy. I always used to carry a little Swiss Army knife, just for the knife and the tweezers, basically. I started using the Leatherman Wave, and it's just blown my mind. something that you kind of just carry on your belt, and you don't realize that there's so many applications for it everywhere. Making sure that circlip's sitting on there tight. And now putting that rear tyre back on. Rear wheel. So that's the chain tensioner in my left hand. I'm going to actually come back later and take this wheel off and replace the tyre, because the rubber of the tyre is all cracked. But I think you'll see that soon, or in the next video. And now putting that little split pin, or cotter pin as the Americans call it, and that stops the nut coming loose while you're riding. So this is the paint that I use to repaint the frame. I tend to gravitate towards paint that says something like one step only or no undercoat needed. I think it's mostly a laziness factor, but yeah, it's good enough for me. Yeah, so I wasn't really going for a stock standard restoration. I kind of just wanted to get everything nice and clean and tidy, fix any broken components, and get it just to a respectable state, I guess. It wasn't bad enough to justify sanding it all back and getting it powder coated or anything, so that's why I'm touching up. Get a load of these filthy old rusty shocks. They weren't good enough, even for my standards, so I had to order some new ones.
Everybody's watching it.
Oh.
Oh my god, they're so big.
Look at them, they're orange. Oh, it's mint. Oh,
Oh my god, it's so cool.
bubble wrap. Oh.
Get away from me. You just embarrassed me with it anyway.
That's such a big improvement. Oh my gosh. Look at these mangy things. I'm so happy with that. Say hello to the carburetor. This is what mixes fuel and air before it gets fed into the combustion chamber. It's absolutely chockers with filth. Usually when cleaning a carburetor, you're supposed to use carburetor cleaner, which is a chemical product, but that contains about 50 or 60% acetone, and acetone is a fine substitute for it instead. It is much easier to use a sprayed compressed can of carburetor cleaner, but it's just as effective to give it a scrub and soak. Please be careful if you've got a can of beer sitting next to your bottle of acetone. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching me work my ass off. The next episode is going to be a cracker. I don't want to give too much away, but I've actually got to pull apart the engine because I have engine problems. What a pleasure that'll be. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to stay in the loop. Cheers, guys. I'll see you next time.